when you have Senator Corker, who's the ranking Republican on foreign relations and who carried the resolution with Senator Menendez, so he's tried to be an ally of the president. When you get that kind of very direct language, essentially expressing despair, doesn't that concern you about the president's ability to work with the Congress?
Look, I think the American people are just tired of that kind of hyperbole. They want leaders with responsible solutions, not leaders who spend all of their time engaged in that kind of blame. I would also remind Senator Corker, when he questions the comfort level of this president, that this president was very comfortable killing Osama bin Laden.
And ending the Iraq War and bringing to an end the Afghanistan War. And Congresswoman Blackburn, I have a question for you. Do you think Senator Corker is worried about his politics at home with that statement?
No, I don't. I think Senator Corker is expressing the frustration of the vast majority of the American people. This is an issue of leadership. And whether you're talking about the Syria situation, the lack of attention of it, a president who, as a U.S. senator and state senator, voted present, basically what he did with the Syria situation over the past week was began by voting present. You had Secretary Kerry go out and make a speech. Then the president meets with his
bringing
national
Assad
security
to his knees
team,
and Russia to the table is acting weak.
I would disagree.
That's not
with
a
you.
strong act.
I think that the president has been very weak on the national stage, and I think that the ones who have gotten attention on both sides of the aisle for standing firm has been the members of the U.S. House of Representatives that, whether it's the progressive
with their
caucus
critique
or the conservatives,
you have been very good with your critique, but I still cannot
said,
understand what you would do differently than the president
I
with
have
the plan that I
told you
outlined.
what I would do differently. First of all, a president has to be the commander-in-chief and the decisive leader. And what the president did was to take this issue and then he fumbled it. He said, here you go to the House. Look at David Axelrod's tweet.
You don't want to vote on
out there.
I
told you how I would vote. No, I would vote no.
Well, you already did vote on
stronger.
that, actually. You already did vote. Look, I respect your view, but you and 400 other members of Congress voted for the Syria Accountability Act, which emphatically and specifically states that we should not allow Syria to attain weapons of mass destruction.
Everyone agrees on
so when
that.
you say that the House, well, you may agree on the passage of the bill, but how do you hold that regime accountable for the Syria Accountability Act?
And we have continued to talk about that.
And how do you do it?
But I'm fascinated.
I think there's only one way to do it, and that's to put the use of force on the table,
you've got
which, as a result, that
said
brought Russia to the
political or
table to help us
military.
negotiate a peace process.
I'm not sure that
if
the
our
president
allies are
brought
coming to the table,
Russia
how do
to
you
the
get to the table?
But I'm
They
just,
didn't- he didn't.
I know there's this whole line which starts with the SEALs having killed bin Laden and then goes on to other great
Taken in
things.
by the Special Operations
but-
Forces from Fort Campbell in my district.
But-
Authorized by the commander-in-chief.
Authorized by
God
the
bless
commander.
him.
I think it was
Yes,
a
God
donation.
bless them.